Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the compilation video for all the touchdowns posted at this date in touchdown history on Facebook for yesterday, November 19th, throughout the milestone anniversaries. We have 16 fantastic touchdowns ranging from special teams, offense, and defense. Let's get started back in 1950 with the Los Angeles Rams versus the New York Yanks. Yes, you heard that right. The football New York Yanks. Here, quarterback Bob Waterfield drops back to pass for the Rams. He throws a screen over the middle to Crazy Legs, Elroy Hirsch, and number 40 is going to show you why they call him Crazy Legs. Just look at the legs cut left and right, and then he's up the field for a 36-yard touchdown for the Rams 75 years ago. We jump quickly to I got to pause this to catch up. 1955, that is Oklahoma's Jay O'Neal running it in from 1 yard out against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Oklahoma was on an incredible long win streak at the time. Moving to 1995, which is where we get a lot of the touchdowns in today's compilation. We start with a kick, a field goal that is blocked. Carolina's John Casey's field goal is blocked, and Aeneas Williams picks it up and goes 72 yards on the kick six for the Cardinals. That would be the only touchdown Arizona would get that day. In another game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cincinnati Bengals, Neil O'Donnell finds Cordell Stewart for 71 yards, his first career touchdown reception, as Cordell Stewart showed off his athleticism against the Cincinnati Bengals 30 years ago today. And then he gets the congratulations from his teammate. We look at Neil O'Donnell, smile on his face, would not have that smile in the Super Bowl, but Cordell Stewart in 1995 was an all-purpose weapon for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as he was a quarterback, / a wide receiver, / a running back, / an all-around athlete. Nice spin move to get out of the tackle, and he just burns the Bengals to the end zone. Touchdown / and a celebration from Charles Johnson, first career touchdown reception. In another game between the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets, it came down to a Hail Mary. From the 41-yard line, Boomer Esiason drops back to pass. He heaves up a prayer, and you're supposed to knock it down, but instead Adrian Morrell catches it and goes into the end zone as time expires to cut the Bills' lead to 2. As a Bills fan, I remember sweating this out. This, by the way, is an editor's pick by our Jets fan, John. Marv Levy is not happy with that, and of course today that'd be a penalty right there for taking your helmet off, but not in 1995. Rich Kotite, the head coach of the New York Jets, calling a play for 2. Boomer Esiason with the Hail Mary. Would not be the last time the Jets would complete a Hail Mary against the Bills. That would be featured on this channel, this date in touchdown history. We showed the 2024 Aaron Rodgers one, but this one was Adrian Morrell. Now we move over to the Grey Cup, the 1995 Grey Cup, and Calgary is punting. By the way, in that last play, the Jets would miss the 2-point conversion, and the Bills would win. This is Chris Wright from the Baltimore Stallions. Yes, the Baltimore Stallions of the Canadian Football League, in the only Grey Cup won by an American team. Baltimore would move up to Montreal the following year. And a backflip from Chris Wright. He went 72 yards for the touchdown on the punt return. Baltimore would defeat Doug Flutie and the Calgary Stampeders on this day, but Flutie would have better days ahead in the Canadian Football League as he would win the 1996 and 97 Grey Cups with the Toronto Argonauts. This is the Stallions' last game in Canada. It would also be Flutie's last game in Calgary. The game was played in Canada, however, but look at this backflip from Chris Wright. Yeah, he's got to use his hands to stick the landing. I give it an 8.5. 72-yard touchdown in the Grey Cup. Then we move on to Sunday Night Football. The Houston Oilers and the Kansas City Chiefs. 1:55 to go. Chris Chandler's back to pass. He gets a block. He throws toward the end zone, and it is a one-man Hail Mary, and it's caught by Chris Sanders, who ties the game up on this 40-yard touchdown reception. That was on 4th down, and is why the Oilers went for not only the first down, but they went for it all on the touchdown. There was 4 Kansas City Chiefs around Chris Sanders, and Sanders is the one who comes down. This was an editor's pick selected by Chris from Pigskin Glory as he chose a touchdown involving two Chris's. Chris picks the touchdown of Chris Chandler to Chris Sanders for 40 yards, and the Houston Oilers were able to tie up the game against Kansas City on this Sunday Night Football. Marty Schottenheimer adjusting his headset. Chris Chandler, who will be a Super Bowl quarterback in just 3 years when he is a member of the Atlanta Falcons. But the Oilers get the ball back, and here is a run that should be just to try to run the clock, but a huge hit, and it's a fumble. Mark Collins picks it up at the 35, and unbelievably, a miracle in Arrowhead occurs. Kansas City's Mark Collins goes 35 yards for the touchdown, and the Chiefs win the game on Sunday Night Football 20-13 over the Houston Oilers. Mark Collins was Johnny on the spot. The Oilers were just trying to run the clock down to get to overtime, but a fumble leads to a Kansas City victory, and Jeff Fisher is none too happy about that. It was the right call. It was a good run, but the running back did not maintain possession, and that, folks, ends up being an Arrowhead miracle for the Kansas City Chiefs. 30 years ago, 6 touchdowns featured on this date in touchdown history, but we're not done. After the celebration is over here in Kansas City, we're going to move to the year 2000. In the year 2000, we've got 3 touchdowns from the year 2000. Once Jeff Fisher's done telling his team that they're not out of it yet, but sorry, Jeff, you were. The game, that would be the final. Mark Collins, the hero in Kansas City. Now, to the year 2000. And the Giants are lining up down 28-7 to Detroit. Kerry Collins is under center. He sends a man in motion. Remember, they're playing the Giants. Looking. He's going to throw off his back foot and is caught by Dan Campbell. Yes, the head coach in 2025 of the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell scoring a 1-yard touchdown against the team he will lead to an NFC championship in 2023 and the number 1 seed in 2024. Dan Campbell showing off his giant, for the touchdown here from Kerry Collins, who threw it off his back foot, as the Giants may have ended up losing this game, but this would help them on their season in which they would get to a Super Bowl. Dan Campbell, number 89, as a member of the New York Giants. In 2000, also the Jets, just a couple weeks after the Music City Miracle, they were hearing a lot of trash talk from the Dolphin fans, and Bernie Parmalee, let's pause it there, so I can talk about that last touchdown before we get into this one. Bernie Parmalee running it in from 7 yards out, and he silenced the crowd, shushing them. That was an editor's pick by John, the Jets fan. This next touchdown. Now we move forward to the next touchdown in the year 2000. The Cowboys and the Ravens on Fox in the late evening window. The Ravens, who had their offensive struggles in the month of October, are back on track now, leading 10-0, and Trent Dilfer finds a wide-open Shannon Sharpe, and he is going to go the distance for 59 yards in a game in which the Ravens would end up shutting out the Cowboys in Baltimore, and Shannon Sharpe and the Ravens offense is clicking, and with that defense in the year 2000 being as great as it was, this was a shutout. There was no stopping the Ravens at that point. This was an editor's pick from Chris, who wants to tell you that the offense of the Ravens gets much maligned, but they had games like this where they were great on the field. Shannon Sharpe, 59-yard touchdown pass from Trent Dilfer, Trent Dilfer led the Ravens to the Super Bowl and then was promptly disowned by the Ravens afterwards. 2005 now, USC, Fresno State, one of the best games of the season, and Reggie Bush is a human video game as he takes the ball off, makes some moves, watch this, stop right here, stop, move again, cut back to the right, gonna speed past a couple Fresno State Bulldogs en route to a 50-yard touchdown, and Reggie Bush, this game, over 300 yards from scrimmage. This was the game in which he basically won the Heisman. Fresno State and number 1 USC, they were in a clash that went all the way to the end, but Reggie Bush was superhuman this night, and on this 50-yard run is one of the prime examples of why he did win the Heisman in the year 2005. Of course, we all know the controversy since then. Luckily, he has been given the Heisman back, because this is one of the greatest seasons in college football history from any Heisman Trophy winner. Reggie Bush, watch this move again from another angle, just stops. The Bulldog runs right by him, and then Bush takes off again, and as they would call him on ESPN, the president saunters into the end zone. Moving on to year 2015, it's the Color Rush game. The mustard-clad Jaguars are on the 5. The Titans in their bright blues are trying to defend the touchdown, leading 13-9 in the 4th. Blake Bortles in the shotgun, and he's looking and finds Julius Thomas right along the end line, and this would prove to be the game-winning touchdown for the Jacksonville Mustard Squirts. I mean the Jacksonville Jaguars. Thursday Night Football, Color Rush, and back when CBS had Thursday Night Football. Julius Thomas from 5 yards out. Blake Bortles, the quarterback. Here's another look at it as Thomas is going to run up straight and then just cut out on a out pattern, catch the pass, and score the Thursday night touchdown for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, after that, as I said, Jacksonville would go on to win. We move to the year 2020. This is Tulane and Tulsa. There's 6 seconds left on the clock. The Golden Hurricane are trailing by 7, and quarterback Davis Brin heaves up a Hail Mary that is brought down by J.C. Santana on a 37-yard Hail Mary, and Tulsa has come back to tie Tulane and force overtime. Julius Carlos Santana, J.C. Santana, with the Hail Mary reception. Davis Brin steps up in the pocket, and he just heaves it goalward, and all you need at that point for Tulane is to knock it down, but not when J.C. Santana mossed him. He got up there, got the pass, secured it for the touchdown, and we would go to overtime. But that's not the only touchdown from this game we want to show. As in overtime, something great happens. Tulsa is on the 3. They're looking to win the game here in double overtime. But it's intercepted. It's intercepted by Zaven Collins, and he is going to go 96 yards on the pick 6. Zaven Collins from the Tulsa Golden Hurricane win it in double overtime. Excuse me. A 96-yard pick 6 for Zaven Collins. And Tulsa walks off this Thursday night action with the touchdown as we move to 2024. And it's Central Michigan and Western Michigan. The Chippewas of Central Michigan have the ball, but it's intercepted. It's intercepted by Tate Halleck of the Western Michigan Broncos, and he goes back 78 yards on the touchdown in this Tuesday night MAC action for the Broncos. Tate Halleck, 78 yards on the pick 6. Another angle shows that Halleck just jumped up to steal the ball from Central Michigan, and he goes the rest of the way. Now, if you want to see these videos with the original audio, click on the link, go on over to Facebook, and watch the games there, the original audio, and better descriptions. Until next time, he could go all the way.